What's going on, everybody? My name is Phil, and today is a very exciting day. We're going to go over my 1978 Gibson RD Artist. Let's talk about it. Alright, so I found out about this guitar about 3 years ago, and that was from another YouTuber. You may know him as Ryan Bruce, aka Fluff from Wrist Beards and Gears. Now, I've seen a lot of his videos over the years, and I'm really proud and happy to see where he's gone with this stuff. I've learned a lot from him, a lot of awesome reviews, and this was definitely one of them that caught my attention on the history of the RD. Now, I had no idea what this guitar was, never seen it, heard it. I thought it was just a funky looking Firebird or an Explorer, a one-off, but it wasn't. So I ended up, of course, getting obsessed, looking around, and about 6 months later, someone locally had 2 of them. So I went back and forth with this person for another 6 months. And then naturally, I finally made it out to go see him. Played the guitar for about 5 minutes. I knew that was it. So I took that thing home. This thing plays great. I've been using it for a couple years now. It already had a refret. He definitely took care of it. It had a plec. I mean, this thing was nice, and it was all original. So naturally, I wasn't really into the Moog electronics that was in it, so I gutted it, put a harness in it, and then I ended up putting some bare knuckle pickups in it, the Holy Divers. And I thought it makes this thing sounds great. So today, to pay homage to Fluff, I took one of his songs and I used this guitar going through a special Axe FX 3 patch that I made loosely based on what he's interested in. Of course, I know he's a big fan of Mesa Mark II C++'s, and we're going to see how this thing sounds. Alright, let's take a listen. Thanks, Fluff. Now, the RD that I have is a 1978 Gibson RD Artist. Now, there's not a ton of information online about this, and again, I think Fluff did a really good job on his video explaining the history of the RD. But I'm going to go over a few things that I did find online and just read them off to you. So this was what they would call their more adventurous design. This RD Artist was produced from 1977 to 1982, so not a very big run with these things. And there are obviously some basses too. And they delivered a blend of conventional Gibson configuration paired with Moog-designed active electronics to broaden the spectrum of available tones. Now, what I do remember before I changed them out is there were a lot of funky tones available on this thing, and it had what it was called the trick switch that added more compression on one side, a couple different things. It was cool, it was kind of fun, but it just wasn't really the sound I was going after. So let me continue a little bit. So the Artist is equipped with Gibson Series 6 humbuckers and traditional 3-way toggle. The pickups are active with an onboard transformer and 9-volt battery. Each pickup has its own active volume control, whilst both pickups share the tone controls, separate knobs for treble and bass. The guitar is also equipped with a second-way toggle called the trick switch. The middle position is neutral, allowing the active electronics to work as described. The front position was a bright switch that boosted the treble frequencies for cut-through on lead solos. Now, that thing had a ton of treble, no matter what I set it at, so it was a little too much for me, if I'm being honest. Okay, what else we got here? The back position activates expander compression circuitry, expansion for the bridge pickup, fast explosive response with rapid decay, and compression for the neck pickup was activated, reduce initial attack and increase sustain. So I kind of saw that, but again, I had kind of like a high frequency chime. It almost reminded me of a single coil on steroids, if that kind of makes any sense. Interesting sound, I will say that. I mean, just wasn't really what I was looking for on a guitar like this. So that's a little bit of explaining what it is. I'll kind of go over some of the specs I found online too. So again, like I said, mine is a 1978. And let me go over some of the differences they had. It looks like they had 3 different models. So the RD77, which was from 1977 to 79, so mine kind of fell into that category. The RD79, which was from 1979 to 1981, and the RD-CMT, which was 1981. Again, it wasn't a very long run of these things. So it looks like everything I explained to you earlier was about the same for all of these, except for the scale length. So scale length on mine was 25.5, and the rest are 24 3/4, so a little bit smaller. So mine definitely I can get down to lower tunings and not have that much of an issue. And you can feel it too. The frets are a little bit wider at the bottom. Especially for me, my hands are a little bit smaller, so I had to reach a little bit, but it was still comfortable because it's a fast neck. Now when I was initially looking into these, I found a few different colors that I saw that were pretty common. As you saw, Fluff had more of that natural finish one in his. I like this one's tobacco burst kind of flavor. I've seen a black one. And I've seen some reissues about 08 and then the mid-teens that were white. I've seen an olive green one, so I haven't seen a lot. And a lot of those reissues, those were all just standards. So they didn't have all the crazy electronics in them or anything like that. But again, it's a super cool guitar. Plays really, really well. And I really like that giant heel right near the headstock because I can plant my hands into that thing. So would I get another one? Yes. Would I get in trouble for getting it? Yes. All right, I'm sure you're all sick of hearing me rambling at this point, so let's get some sounds out of this thing. I'll go into my XFX3. That's going right into my Universal Apollo X8. And we'll probably go through the fluff patch. We'll probably go through maybe a clean, maybe a mid-gain. Let's just play around with this thing a little bit and see what kind of sounds we can get, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right, let's see what we got. Alright guys, what do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. I love this guitar. I really appreciate that he put out that video. I know he's been a big fan of these RDs for a while, and I'm really glad that one came up locally and I picked this thing up. So it is a different guitar. It definitely feels a lot different than the Les Pauls I have. It has a massive heel in the back of the headstock, a little bit longer with the scale length, and I don't know, it has more of like a U-shaped neck. It's a little thin, but it's like a U shape. So if you're not really used to that, fortunately my hands worked with this guitar and I really like it. So again, thank you Fluff for that video. Without that, I never would have known about this guitar. I hope all of you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like and subscribe. We'll have some more coming out, and stay tuned. Have a good night. Thank you.